Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So guys, before we discuss about our material and explain to you guys about our material, so first of all, I would like to introduce for you guys our member one by one. So my name is Nyoman. I am the first speaker, and the second one is Rizal Bahrudin. He is the second speaker, and the last one is Khafifah Madia. She is the last speaker. So let's discuss our material. So the title of our material today on this video is about uh, how to gain in access to organization in qualitative research method. So we move to the first slide, and the first question is, what is the gaining access to organization in qualitative research method? So this is about the definition of gaining access to organization. Organization means such as organization of society, which is village, and also organization such as company. Okay, the definition of gaining access to organization is how do we build the strategy, or how we prepare our strategy and the process of research, and also how to establishing the relationship, how we build the relation with them, and negotiating with them, how we negotiating, and the strategy how we negotiating if we want to do our research in their place. So there are four main part, or there are four main strategy if you want to do the research on their place. The first strategy is about identify the gatekeepers. So what is gatekeepers? Gatekeepers means someone who has access, or someone who has access that which can give for us and give to us opportunity to do the research on or in their place. So it is someone who have a power, or someone who have access which can give for us opportunity to do research in their place. So if we want to do our research in the company, gatekeepers, it refers to some such as supervisors or manager, because they have access to give us opportunity to do our research in their place. But if we want to do our research in the village, it refers to head village, kepala desa. We have to make sure we have to talk with them to get access if we want to do our research in their place. The second one, clear explanation. We have to make sure if we want to talk with them, to negotiating with them to get their access, we have to give to them a clearly explanation about our purpose and also our intention and the benefit of our research, to make them easy understanding, something like that. The third way, or the third strategy is we have to make sure we build trust and credibility. We have to make sure we can get their trust, and we have to make sure also they can believe us if we want to do our research in their place. And the last strategy is about negotiating access and permission. We have to make sure we have to make sure that we negotiating with them with the easy way and clear communication to get their permission. Such as a couple of minutes ago I explained, we have to have good explanation, and also clear explanation to make them easy understanding about our intention and also our purpose, which we want to do research in their place. Okay, the second question on the slide first is about does importance to understanding access procedure for researchers. Of course, really important. As the researchers, we have to understanding first the strategy and the step by step if we want to do research in some place. Then we have to move to the second slide about access strategy on research. So the first question is explanation of gain access through gatekeepers. So we have to explain to gatekeepers, which is a head of village, if we want to do our research in the village, or the supervisor if we want to do our research on the company. We have to explain to them our intention and the benefit of our research to make them understand, and they can allow us and give to us opportunity and access to do our research on their place. And the second question is the importance of managing identify and projecting and non-training image. We have to make sure we can identify our what we need, and we need to identify our project and to prepare, but for we explain to them. And the last question on the slide number 2 is use of strength word approach and other tactic and necessary. So we have to make sure we have prepare other strategy if we want to do research on their place, because it's afraid if we don't give to us access or opportunity, we have to prepare our other strategy. So maybe that's explanation from me. The second explanation will be delivered by my friend Rizal and Khafifah. Time is yours.
Okay, next is access to public and quasi-public settings. So before that, what is public settings and quasi-public settings? So public setting is environments that are open and accessible to anyone, such as parks, sidewalks, libraries, or public squares. Access to these spaces is generally unrestricted, and people from diverse backgrounds interact freely within them. And after that, quasi-public. What is quasi-public settings? This setting is semi-public setting. These are spaces that are open to the public but may have certain restrictions or limited access. Example include community centers, religious institutions, or cafes where the public is welcome, but there might be specific guidance or norms to follow. So it's some kinds like rules that we should follow in this kind of settings. And after that, the access for these settings. So access to public and quasi-public setting is typically easier for researchers compared to the more private controlled environments. Researchers can gain entry simply by showing up their operating hours. In quasi-public settings like community centers or religious institutions, it's often helpful to introduce yourself to staff or key members who can provide more information and facilitate your presence. And next is strategies for learning about settings and interacting with informants. So, as we know, interacting is really important for researchers to gain information. So, there are some strategies that we can try as researcher, which is the first one is observation. Observation is spend time quietly observing interactions, behavior, and routines within the setting. This can provide valuable insights into the dynamic and culture of the environment. So the first one is observation. And next is casual conversation. So info the information not just get from the observation or formal interviews, but even though casual information, you can get information from that by start with small talk and just ask what you want, but it's more informal. Just talk like your friends, not just like an interview. But you can get information from that, dude. So after observation and casual information, there is participation in community activities. So actively participate in events or activities organized within the setting. This involvement allows you to immerse yourself in the community. So you build your relationship, you understand the setting from an insider's peoples. So the last one is participation in community service. Okay, next is importance of establishing acceptable participant roles. So, when entering public or quasi-public settings for a research purpose, it's crucial to establish acceptable participant roles to avoid disrupting the natural interaction and dynamics. So, as research, there are some things that you can do when you entering public or quasi-public settings, such as the first is maintain a respectful distance. So while engaging with individuals, be mindful not to intrude or disrupt ongoing activities, and you should respect personal boundaries and social norms. So the next one is be transparent about your research intention. So communicate openly about your research goals and intention with individuals you interact with. And this is transparency has built trust and ensures ethical conduct. And the last one is adapt to contextual norms. So adjust your behavior rule based on the setting and its cultural norms. So you should adapt with the settings. So there are three that I have mentioned before. The first one is maintain a respectful distance. The second one is be transparent about your research intention. And the last one is adapt to contextual norms. Okay, next is about access to private settings. So there are three topics that we will talk about here. The first one is techniques for gaining access to private settings and individuals. The second one is discussion on the snowball technique and its relevance in qualitative studies. And the third one is strategies for explaining research purpose to gatekeepers and informants. So accessing private setting and individual for research, especially in qualitative studies, often requires strategic methods to establish trust and gain entry. So here are some key techniques that you can use for your research. So the first one is snowball sampling techniques. So snowball sampling technique is one of effective technique researchers use is called the snowball method. So the snowball sampling technique involves leveraging existing connection to gain introduction to potential participants. Here are how it typically works. So the first one is initial context. So researchers start by identifying a few key individuals who are relevant to their study or have access to the private settings of interest. So the second one is a referral chain. So in this referral chain is one researcher establishes rapport and trust with this initial context. They ask for referrals to others individuals who might be willing to participate or provide access. So and the next one is gradual expansion. This process continues in a snowball effect where each participant refers the research to other gradually expanding the network of potential participants. Okay, the next one is strategies for explaining your research purposes. So when you're communicating your research purposes with gatekeepers, informant, or some kinds like that, that are some strategies that you can follow. And the first one is transparency. So as you know, transparency is important to make them trust you. And you also should provide an open dialogue, which is the gatekeepers or informant can ask you questions to make them more trust and more understand. And the second one is establishing mutual benefits. So when you explain your research purposes, so you should highlight their benefit when they participate in this research. So there are symbiosis mutualistic that provides benefit for them and for you as well. And the next one is cultural sensitivity. So as you know, cultural is important. So you should understand the cultural and try to avoid to make them angry or to disturb their cultural when you do your research or when you explain your research purposes. And the last one is building relationships. So relationships is important to when they have trust you. So you should build relationship not for now but long term. So maybe there is possibility that you will work with them again. So you should make long term relationship. So there are some strategies that you can follow to make your explaining about your research purpose more better. And yeah, next please.
They are anticipating and addressing objections from gatekeepers. So before going any further, I would like to tell you what is gatekeepers. So gatekeepers is someone who act like an intermediary between a researcher and potential participant of the research. So it's like the connection bridge that connect both of them. The main authority of gatekeepers is to grant or deny permission for the potential participant. Addressing objection requires clear communication and commitment to ethics standards. Researchers should proactively present their research as respect, collaborative, and beneficial to all parties involved. There are some criteria of responding to objection. The first one is clear communication. When researchers communicate clearly, they explain their intention and methods in a way that everyone can understand. Commitment to ethical standards. Researchers promise to follow rules that protect people's privacy and well-being. They promise to be fair and respectful in how they conduct their research. So the researcher must respect other people's privacy as well. Third one is respectful and collaborative approach. Researchers show that they value and appreciate the people they are working with. They want to work together to achieve something meaningful for everyone involved. Next is showcasing non-intrusive methods. Researchers demonstrate that their methods won't disrupt or bother anyone. Next one is emphasizing confidentiality. Researchers highlight that they will keep information private. They won't share personal details without permission, and they will store data securely. The next one is minimizing disruption. Researchers explain that their work won't get in the way of normal activities. They'll be careful not to disturb routine or operation. Seventh, building trust and cooperation. By being open and honest about their plans, researchers build trust with gatekeepers and participants. This trust makes everyone more willing to work together and share information. The eighth one, ensuring ethical integrity. Researchers aim to do the things the right way, following the guidance and standards that protect everyone involved. This ensures that the research is done in fair and ethical manner. In summary, clear and respectful communication along with commitment to ethical practice help researchers address concerns and gain support for their research. Collecting data about obtaining access, there are importance of keeping detailed field notes during the access process. So detailed field notes provide a record of all interaction with gatekeepers, organizational officials, and any other stakeholders involved in granting access. This documentation includes dates, times, individuals met, and specific of conversation between all the interaction. It helps researchers recall details accurately and track progress in securing access. Examples of valuable insight gained during the access phase. The first one is understand power dynamics. Through interaction with gatekeepers and officials, researchers can discern power structure within the organization. For instance, observing who holds decision-making authority or who influence access decision provides insight into the hierarchy and power dynamics. The second is assessing organizational culture. Field notes might reveal valuable insight into the organization culture. Researchers can note the general atmosphere of the workplace, how decisions are communicated, or even unwritten norms that impact interaction. Understanding this cultural aspect is crucial for framing subsequent research activities. And the last one is understanding the perspective of organizational officials and hierarchy. The first, navigating access challenge. Understanding the viewpoints of organizational officials help researchers anticipate and address access challenge more effectively. Conclusion: access procedures are not merely logistical hurdles. They are fundamental to the ethical conduct of qualitative research. By emphasizing transparency, respecting participant autonomy, and maintaining integrity, researchers can navigate access challenges responsibly and produce meaningful insight that contribute positively to both academia and society. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.